playing. It's not like they haven't played in competitive matches, but you can tell Tankafet just knows his game a bit better there. They revealed way too many cards in that draft early on, with the Pebbles and Deadwood being picked up right away,
Yeah.
all the defensive tools being available, with the Rally being first drafted, the Master of Arms pretty much being given to them for free. I mean, they had everything they needed, so I honestly think he had the read on him. And here in Game 2, there's nothing really indicating for me to believe that Game for Life is going to be able to turn this around.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, but I mean, hey, you know, you play the matches, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the end. So with that said, the teams are, in fact, ready to go, and we are now going to be jumping into game number 2 here, so no reason to wait any longer. Let's just jump right in. Of course, going to be on the Hellborne side. We got Game for Life on the Legion side. So once again, the blind bands, Ophelia Soul Reaper, and then Oogie Flux, yet again, coming out from, so just like the first game there. The Ophelia, the different blind band here, coming out this time. Keeper of the Force, the first lock into the Tempest and Moon Queen. So already off to a quick start right here, and you know, so the only response so far you see from the first game is that Ophelia blind ban once again. Doesn't want to. They don't want to have to deal with that this time around, despite being the first pick even. So we do yet again see that Keeper of the Force and Tempest in that pool, however, without the Ophelia this time.
What that tells me when I see the Legion side banning Ophelia right away is that, well, they either have a specific strat in mind where they want to run in, they just don't want Ophelia in the game. They're comfortable with that Keeper of the Tempest draft, but more likely than that, they're probably just not comfortable running it as a team.
Yeah.
Which is okay. There are other routes you can go, but after just being dominated by it in the first game, just not wanting to deal with it here. Keeper of the Forest, Tempest, both available alongside Parasite, Wild Soul. So, you know, the double jungles showing their cards once again here in the lock pool. Nothing surprising there. Moon Queen being thrown into the mix. I've seen good results coming out of her. I've also seen her get stomped a couple times in the laning phase. Yet to actually totally figure out where to place her right now since the patch.
Who's that?
Moon Queen.
Moon Queen?
Yeah.
You mean, I still think she's still a very dominant.
You still consider her as the absolute god tier that she was?
I mean, are there other? Well, obviously she did.
In terms of, like,
she received nerfs. I mean, there's no doubt in that.
In terms of carry capacity, yeah, but she received nerfs to the point of the game where she is supposed to be the most vulnerable. Heroes of New Earth is the kind of game that the snowball effect really shows its hand all the time. So
it does seem like the nature of the game seems to be a little bit more aggressive earlier on, especially, and that could be to the hinder of Moon Queen, yes, but I still think you have to grade her as B, if not, you know, your top 5, top 3 carries even, as far as availability. And I think that the teams are kind of going for that, you know, but that's just for right now. I mean, as time moves on, you know, people start running different strategies and maybe start pulling out certain carry heroes that we may not know too much about, or bringing them back even, then perhaps different. But we'll see. I mean, I know Flint Beast was obviously another one that's kind of been talked about, speaking of carry hero potentials with his, he got a lot of buffs this last patch.
he did. A lot of them affected more of his early game and his laning phase rather than his ability to carry in the late game. He still requires a fair amount of farm. There are items like Elder Parasite, which maybe Flint Beastwood could use in combination with the damage item a little bit more now, because he's a hero that can rely on positioning a little bit more and stay on the outskirts of those fights and just put in those auto attacks. On top of the fact that his laning got a little bit better, but he does still require a fair amount of farm before he becomes that useful, which has always sort of been his downside. In his late game, presence is still pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Flint can pretty much guarantee that you take someone out that would make that fight a 4v5 at the start if you have a strong initiation.
I also like the fact that, speaking of just carry potentials in general, with the introduction of Grimoire Power into tournament play, you know, there are certain heroes that did receive quite a big buff because of the item being introduced, and their carry potential definitely has risen. You know, heroes like even something like a Dampier, especially something like a Wretched Hag, who we even saw before. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot out there. Obviously, again, though, this being still so close to the patch just recently coming out, you still see a case of teams going with their comfort zone for the most part, and not making the big adjustments, at least just yet. But we'll see as it progresses on. I mean, when it comes down to the picking stage, already moving along pretty nicely here. The bands just before that, though: Fade, Artillery, Zephyr, Deadwood, Tundra, and Pebbles. Master of Arms, the first pick. Demented Shaman, Engineer to follow things up here for Team So Tundra was banned. I was curious about that, but we see the Tundra ban here. And sure enough, we do. Coming out here from the Legion team. Wild Soul, a part of that lock pool as well. Oh, well, speaking of a hero that kind of has died out a little bit since the patch.
Due to the fact that aggression is rewarded and you're sort of being forced to fight 4v5. I still think he's effective. I think you build Ghost Marcher sometimes, you know, on his barrack, get involved with your team a little bit sooner, and he is still a very strong suicide laner. But yeah, he He's definitely fallen out of flavor so far in this recent patch. Not much damage coming out yet for the Hellborne side. Going for the Grinix pick.
Interesting.
That is not something I expected to see. I can't exactly. He pushes heroes around a lot, which is going to be nice during the engineer ulti a bit, I guess. Yeah, a lot of trickery coming out.
I've never played this hero personally. I'm not going to lie. I know nothing really about this guy. As he said, I know that he bounces people around. His ultimate, you know, it's kind of a sand ray style ultimate with he goes in the illusion. So,
well, I was actually going to say there, if I was gay for life, I would have considered actually grabbing that rally first, because I'm looking at Demented Shaman Engineer Grinix and put a Keeper of the Forest Tempest on top of that. I'm not seeing the biggest amount of damage. You know, I feel like they'd be lacking in damage a lot with that lineup, so I figured grabbing Rally, getting that powerful Rally Master of Arms combination right off the bat could have been nice, but they already sort of, you know, decided what their lineup would be with that Master Draft, with the Bubbles and the Miraxis earlier on. If they opted to grab a more dedicated support hero, that could have gone a lot better. And I just don't understand. Like, I mean, okay, they had Master of Arms here, sure, but I actually felt if they grabbed dedicated support and grabbed the Rally instead, ran Master of Arms as a farm hero, ran the Rally as another farmer, they would have had a better team.
Yeah. Well, they do get the Moon Queen in the end as their final pick, so speaking of her, but... Well, Grinix, a couple things I want to bring up here. One, obviously, you know, one of the 6 new heroes that was introduced. And again, speaking of all these polls that we've been doing, we did do one yesterday concerning the new heroes that were introduced, and asked the community what they, out of those heroes, you know, which ones that were they most excited to see. Grinix was last place on that poll, so still in the end, I mean, excited to see him no matter what, obviously, but he was kind of on the bottom, and I think that might have been also because they maybe just didn't expect to see him. I mean, Grinix is the one that it's like, don't really expect to see him here in the competitive play out of those 6 heroes, honestly, but he's picked up here, and the Slender Man Grinix, that's also pretty damn cool.
You're actually going to be playing the Suicide lane against Fabelli, fulfilling the role, getting pulled regen right at the start. And some people mentioned, maybe Grinix Suicide, the Scout Suicide works. Grinix is a pretty slippery hero himself. Let's see what we can do. So
yeah, definitely going to keep a close eye on his build and everything, and kind of just running through the abilities just fairly quickly. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him in the Suicide potential here. He's going to get a deny from Tempest early on as well, so that'll help things out. But it looks like he is going to be matched up against a short lane Moon Queen here in the middle lane. So I'm not. What is going on here? He's pulling Condor. Are they just kind of being bored, or are they actually trying to accomplish something here? Penny keeps pulling Condor. You see a hatchet coming. Wait, what? What are they doing?
They're definitely trying to do something.
Yeah. What exactly are they doing? I mean, he's losing life. Like, this is kind of a big deal. What is that? Are they just dwindling down? I mean,
they're.
I can't see any
gotta
possible
be around.
strategy.
They're sitting there throwing hatchets at him.
Coming out of it, yeah.
There's no creeps that are spawned. There's no lane creeps they're trying to pull him to. If it was something blatant where Congo would like break his leash and start roaming, that'd be considered blatant bug abuse. So no, as far as that, I think they're just trolling around.
I mean, he lost some life. That's kind of a.
I don't think he intended to get bashed there. That was more of a misstep than anything. It's
kind of silly. Anyways, I won't look too much into it. I think you're right. It's just
there's
control.
There's not some super secret tech they just discovered. So.
Hey, you never know. I mean, sometimes. All right, so the lane matchups that are coming about right here. Yeah, the Moraxis over here. Moraxis Master of Arms at the top lane. Going up against your solo Demented Shaman. It's good to see that Probus playing the Demented Shaman here. Always love seeing that DS in that solo world. The damage output he can get as a result of that, pretty powerful early on. So kind of an impact. Probus cast Rally in the middle lane. You got Engineer roaming to the top lane. So yeah, what about the decision by the Legion team sending the Master of Arms Moraxis top and having Bubbles go mid, actually? Kind of a mix-up there. You would think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah, just figuring to apply more pressure on the lane. Bubbles will be just fine here in mid. No need to make him suffer here, because against a Demented Shaman, Bubbles can actually do fairly decently in the matchup, thanks to the fact that if he's experienced, he can actually dodge the point where the poison settles in by using his take cover at the right moment. So it actually allows Bubbles to do pretty decently against a Demented Shaman. But outside of that, with this dual lane pressure, just figured it was a little bit better setup. And not to mention the fact that Bubbles is kind of like Rally in the fact that he's a very safe mid hero. Even against dual lanes, it's very, very, very hard to take him out. So.
Again, so what you know of Grinix, I mean, is it safe to say he's more of a ganking style here basically? So he's going to be a hero that will get these early on levels and start moving around. Like as far as his carry potential goes, I don't think it's the highest. I mean, again, I don't know how much.
He's not like a hard carry. He can still put out a ton of physical damage though.
Yeah.
It's something you should discount. If he gets his farm in, it will be fine. I'm not sure the exact style they're going to be choosing to run him here. As you said before, it's not the hero that we have the most experience with here on the scene, but he's going to be able to perform phenomenally here against Moon Queen in the 1v1 lane, for sure. Not a matchup that really punishes Moon Queen 1v1 that I've been talking about recently in light of the changes. Something like Bubbles could do a lot better here, but still he's going to be able to farm effectively. Just using the mix of his Rift Stalk and Nether Strike, it's pretty much free CS whenever he wants it.
Yeah, exactly. So enhancing his auto attacks as a result of that. So. Yeah, it seems. I mean, you look at this creep farm, 12-1 as a Suicide Grinix here. That seems very, very powerful, as you mentioned, with that Moon Queen match. Maybe not the most dangerous top lane, though. In the meantime, Master Vaz in a lot of trouble. Master Vaz will eventually be bursted down. Tanka fed, just like last game on Ophelia. Sets up the ganks in the middle lane, gets an early start. Does it at the top lane this time. Now on the Tempest there, gets the Bloodlust kill for his team. So good setup at the top side.
Yeah, and they actually had Vision going in there as well. It's.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I was gonna say I don't really like the fact that they have a dual lane top, especially given the fact that hey, they're running that engineered Demented Shaman top lane. There is a Tempest in the woods, who is able to be a lot more active compared to the Keeper of the Forest. So it sort of sets their lane up at a disadvantage.
And you look at this now. They're like, okay, this idea did not work out. We're gonna send Master of Arms and more access middle back again, or instead.
Form the tri-lane, no.
Yeah, do the tri-middle. No, Bubble's going to now make his way to the top lane. So, again, as kind of mentioning that, it was a little bit different style here from the Legion team, trying to mix things up a little bit. But the quick adjustment from the Hellborne side, from Team Yeah, and already getting that Bloodlust kill, it's a clear mark of, okay, it's not going to work. We need to make the adjustments ourselves. And at the same time, that's where you can appreciate it. I mean, if teams might get it stuck in the mindset of, oh, well, we did this, now we got to keep going up here. I mean, we've seen that all the time where they get in the mindset and instead of making those adjustments after kills like that. So you at least got to respect our Legion team for, making that adjustment themselves once again.
Yeah, Belly actually getting the early side lane bottle here, which is something we've seen increase in popularity since the patch, thanks to the fact that runes are spawning on both sides.
Yeah, so
see if he's going to apply any more pressure here to the Moon Queen now that he's pretty much been sitting on high mana the entire time.
I was going to say, yeah, it's now use the mana. That's the next step. So we'll see. It starts to do so, in fact, kind of going right there. There we go. He's going to use that Shadow Step on him and do a good amount of damage right there. So Shadow Step and Rift Stalk, and start getting more and more used to these names here. Demented Shaman at the top lane, doing some good damage to Bubbles, but Bubbles able to shell surf away in time, of course, before eventually too much happens to him. So speaking of Demented Shaman, 19-13 creep farm now. Obviously, it wasn't a 2 versus 1 off the bat, but adjustments were made, and now he's having a pretty damn good time. And this is a matchup, if it was a 1v1 versus Bubbles, I think Demented Shaman could have a good time.
He's got to be careful, man. I mean, Grinix has 2 charges up on his Rift Stalk. If he gets her out of position here and slams her into a tree, he can quickly burst her down.
Yep.
He's level 6 before she is as well. I imagine Grinix is be looking for a kill here.
Yeah, I mean, he can use everything if I'm
not
looking at it.
Queen's level
225. Okay, maybe not everything, but
not yet. And Master of Arms is rotating down here as well, going to keep Moon Queen safe.
Oh yeah, actually now Grinix is the one that's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's
oh, he's going to go right there. That's what you're talking about. The Shadow Step into the tree. He's going to try to run away right now, use that Rift Stalk, and he will be fine. Master of Arms just a little bit too late, so. But Fabelli realizing that something was Moon Queen playing a little bit too aggressive on him. As he also does have a ward of sight over here, so never mind. He saw that
had a ward of sight.
Well, no, not anymore. Never mind. We're cursing the ward of sights now. Top lane, Tempest and Demented Shaman in the meantime. They're going to put some pressure here at the top side. He got Bubbles. Massera here playing the Bubbles. Going to shell surf, do what he can to hold it off, but this tower push is inevitable, it looks like. And unless our Legion team puts more resources in, it's going to be a tower kill. It's Engineer, nice keg stun right there. Actually hits Bubbles, and Bubbles is going to end up falling. A beautiful keg stun from Panny, honestly. Hitting Bubbles out of nowhere. He didn't even see that coming. and sets up that kill. So well placed, a deserving kill, and that is going to be a free top tower now as a result of that too. So big series of events right there coming out here from the Hellborne side. As far as good news here for the Legion team, I mean, they do have a well-farmed Moon Queen, as good as Grinix is doing here in the Suicide role. Moon Queen is also having a very good time.
Yeah, not quite at Snowball Factor levels yet. They are going to be hopefully pushing this bottom tower here soon. Master Arms has rotated. Keeper of the Forest is at level 6, but he's actually low on health. Not having the fastest time here in the jungle.
I love the Slender Man Grinix costume. It's pretty bad.
I actually wasn't keeping too much of an eye on Keeper of the Forest. I mean, he's low health. He hit level 6 all the way at 7 minutes. What happened to him?
Yeah. Hey, well, he is going to push here at the bottom lane with his team. Grinix, though, running in, looking to do something. The tower will be killed. He jumps on a Moon Queen right there, hits him and Master of Arms, but eventually falls back. He actually uses his ultimate right there with the illusory assault. Anyways, it doesn't set up any kills, so Root came out for Keeper of the Forest, and everyone will be fine. So tower kill for the Legion team, actually. And they don't have any casualty as a result either, so.
I was potentially a little bit worried for the Grinix there. Keeper of the Forest Root does reveal, and Grinix went in pretty deep. I mean, still had her ultimate up with some lucky bounces and the Keeper of the Forest Root. I was afraid she might be dropped, but yeah, getting on out of there, well, the pressure's continuing to be applied top. They know that Keeper of the Forest Root is down now, so in terms of initiation, only the bubbles can really hold him out. Master of Arms is rotating and taking a look at ports elsewhere on his team, and none really to speak of.
Well, you also look at Moraxis over here. He's going to try to cut them off, but not going to happen. A little bit too far, and instead, they're going to be fine. The Courier actually running right over Moraxis. That was a Hellborne Courier right there. He's going to go right over, though, and deliver the homecoming stone, I believe it was, to Rally. So, speaking of Rally, I haven't mentioned too much of him, but, well, Rally's top of the game. 395 gold per minute here. For Rally coming out when it comes to his farm. Atros in some trouble on the Master of Arms. He's going to get caught by Rally and Engineer. You see Moraxis is going to actually port to the top lane, because in the meantime they're trying to counter on a Tempest. Tankafed dropping one more auto attack. He's just out of range, so the tower does fall in favor of the Hellborne team. Tankafed turns around with a stun, actually. Interesting choice right there. It does end up costing him his life. Keeper of the Forest running in, doesn't have the root now for 30 seconds. Quake Stun on to Demented Shaman. The heal bomb not enough. The auto attacks, nice take cover coming up from Bubbles. It's not enough though. Rally joins the party and gets that kill. Grinix is here now as well. Shadow Strike on him, Moraxis. Moraxis will fall, and now Keeper of the Forest on the run. Is Invis currently, or he's not Invis actually. He will eventually fall, and it ends up being a pretty damn big fight there for Team Yeah in the end.
Yeah, so Tempest sacrificing his life, just trying to get things going a little bit there with that stun. Just wanted to make sure the lockdown was out. Yeah, he only had enough to... If he was able to survive one more auto attack, he would have been able to get out of there alive. But yeah, just wanted to lay out the stun at least. Figured his sacrifice was worth it. Not sure if it was needed, because Engineer was coming to cut them off, and they were sort of overextending, chasing that Tempest in the first place. But either way, well done. And, well, the snowball is starting here. Moon Queen, however, is farming pretty famously, 354 gold per minute. It's just not really on par with what the Hellborne team is putting out here across pretty much all of their heroes. Penny, their lowest one being at 180. Everyone else pretty much 350 plus at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to last game. I mean, that is the difference than last game, is the fact they do have a Moon Queen farming so well, at least.
350 is okay, but the thing you got to keep in mind about farm is always relative.
Yeah.
If you know, that 350 is like, it doesn't matter when everyone else is sitting there at 400, 500, 350 average.
I mean, you see Moon Queen, and speaking of her Moon Finale, actually trying to finish off, yes, the Moon being to finish off Tempest right there, so actually a free kill for her, basically, as Tempest was roaming around, trying to set up a gank onto her, it looked like.
What do you do? He just wants to die.
I guess so.
I think that's what he's up to. No, I think his plan there, his minions weren't far behind him. I believe he thought his minions would be a little bit closer in range. He'd be able to pull back and have them absorb some of those moonbeams. He ended up taking the full force of it instead, resulting in his death.
Demented Shaman going to try to capitalize, though, in the meantime. He's just pushing in this bottom lane right here, putting in the auto attacks. Right now, no defense being put up. Engineer, in the meantime, trying to counter one. Runs into Moraxis, so the kick's a nice dodge from Moraxis right there. The energy field comes out, but it might not be enough in the end, or will it? No, it might be enough. No, it's not. Never mind. Engineer will fall. Demented Shaman can't get there in time. And Grinix also gets picked off. So, yeah, it's falling apart right here somewhat. Losing some heroes, but right as I say that, Rally comes in, finishing off Moraxis with the Compel. And him and Demented Shaman going to fall back. So at least they do get some blood at the very end. But seems like, yeah, kind of running into some traps right here.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they're not picking more favorable fights. I mean, they have a huge resource advantage right now in their golden experience. A nice pick off there.
Well, that was a
Onto
favorable
the bubbles.
fight.
Yeah, that was definitely favorable in the end. I mean, they did use a lot to sort of hold them off, so Rally, being in the enemy woods, was able to find the angle. But I was going to say, those trades even coming out slightly in favor of Game for Life, I don't believe they need to be even taking those trades when they have such a high golden experience advantage.
Yeah.
Either way, Keeper the Forest route is up. Bubbles has an ultimate over 30 more seconds, and it looks like they're content here with the Suspension Shaman Rally to keep on pushing the bottom lane. Are they going to be pulling back here? I don't really.
Doesn't look. Well,
there's a regeneration room bottom. Maybe Rally wants to pick up. I feel like they can just keep going. Wait a little bit for Rally to get his ultimate up and don't overcommit per se. But yeah, it looks like the rune is going to be what they're going for. Mid lane, meanwhile, is being pressured by the Legion side. So they have to make a choice here whether they want to keep split pushing or set up for the defense.
Yeah. Gnome's Wisdom is delivered to Demented Shaman. So he has his first kind of core item built up here, and he himself is going to continue pushing, as well as actually Tempest. But
they have
as you're saying, yeah, the middle tower is being gone on here by our Legion team. So Rally, the only one here currently setting up a hold of his own. The bottom tower is dropping fairly fast as well, so this could be a tower kill as well as a defense put up here. There's the Quakestone, though. Honor Rally is in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't compel. Not anymore, though. The rune comes out. Rally being locked down. Will eventually be bursted down and falls. The bottom tower does go down, but the middle tower down right after. So I guess it was kind of a tower exchange for a hero in a tower. Right?
Yeah, and they use Miraculous ultimate. They use Bubbles ultimate. They use Keeper of the Forest ultimate. So while they're split pushing here bottom, they're like, you know what, we can do this pretty safely.
Yeah.
They can come on us. We'll still be able to get out in time. And hey, being the push up top lane, however, they are getting 2 for 1 here in exchange. Bottom tower should not be able to be broken at this point. So.
Yeah, the base tower is definitely going to stay alive here, and our Legion team able to get back in time. So overall, I mean, the series of events right there, it worked out pretty good for Legion team. I mean, you do see Moon Queen right now, 407 gold per minute, so continuing to rise up. And talked about Rally, though, and really the whole Hellborne team, for the most part, also up there as far as their GPM is concerned. So looking very strong also. In fact, we already have a barrier idol finish on Krebs, and holy crap, playing the Rally here. So a lot of damage reduction coming out already. We're only
really
14 minutes in. Jeez.
Making a statement here that he's like, you know, screw you, Moon Queen. You're going to be absolutely useless against us as we push into your territory, take over all the outer towers, and apply pressure.
Yeah. Apparently. So you see right there, Grinix actually using that Rift stock to get to the creep wave and finds, ideally finds somebody, but in the end, no one to be found, and we'll continue to farm. I kept calling it Shadow Strike, by the way, Shadow Step. Gonna have to get used to these.
It's Nether Strike. That's the one that does the main part of the damage. Shadow Step actually, body slams them basically into the trees, applies that stun. There's that. There's the initial magic damage. I think the bonus one as it actually slams them in.
Yeah. So kind of like the Kraken. Bottom lane, we have initiation down here. Master of Fire is going to be gone, and Elementals respond. Kexon will hit, but Moraxton jumps in with the Portakey. Keep the port's also nearby. Deep as the Master's Call on a Master of Fire. Going to survive now. Tempest does have an ultimate. There's the energy field put down as Demented Shaman and Rally. They join the party now as well. Root finally going to be used right there, but Tempest is still alive. And this is turning out to be a big fight here for the Hellborne team. Grinix running in from behind, looking to go into Bubbles right there. The auto attack to finish him off. Kelfield does hit, but it doesn't matter. So that looked like it could have been something there for the Legion team, honestly, in the beginning of that fight. But Tempest able to stay alive throughout it all, gets the support in time. And now this could be a base push here.
I mean, they were outnumbered in the first place. On top of that, Engineer actually had a pretty nifty ulti. He landed it right as Bubbles was trying to come in to set up a combo. Yeah. If Bubbles had poured it into that Engineer ultimate, he obviously would have been punished for it. So nice timing there. Otherwise, yeah, they have the numbers, they have the defensive tools, they have the barrier, they have the Demented Shaman. This comes down to a damage game again. Yeah. They don't have the advantage needed to be able to put out enough damage in order to kill this Hellborne team as long as they're sticking together.
So the defensive Storm Cloud being put out right there from Demented Shaman, hitting multiple teammates and giving them a nice little armor buff. So Grinix, did he buy anything yet? Okay, he had a bunch of gold. He just bought something on the courier. Oh, looks like it's going to be Helm of the Black Legion actually coming out for Grinix right here. I can't say I saw that one coming, but
he doesn't need extra damage right now. He just needs to be able to survive the combo. His team is doing great. If he wants damage, he can pick it up later. Vestments would make a lot of sense in this circumstance since he does have a helm. They are pushing base. He does have the barrier just to sort of expand upon that. Honestly, we'd like to see Vestments on pretty much everyone there. but
at the same time, not rushing anything.
And well, Raleigh is very obvious. Yeah, I would like to see it. There's no reason not to, honestly, if you're pushing base like that.
Yeah. Moraxis using that portal key, thinking about using it right here on a Grinix perhaps, but Grinix, oh, he actually is going to go in. That's a pretty deep dive, though. I don't know if the team support is going to be nearly in time. You do see Grinix kind of running away. In fact, going to turn this on to Moraxis somewhat, but Master of Arts to the party. Energy field going to be put down. Matrix is applied, but Moraxis just not taking enough. He eventually falls, and now here's a turnaround coming out here for the Hellborne team. Grinix going in right there and takes out Master of Arms. Actually, Pro Busk on the Demented Shaman gets credit for the kill right there. So. Yeah, that was a really forced dive right there.
Did you see how much damage that the Nether Strike did?
A lot.
Yeah, that was because of the Storm Cloud that was applied. His negative armor was built way up. Just took out, I think, over half of his health in one hit.
Yeah, the 100 physical damage, so you factor in the minus armor, definitely a good amount coming out. So, yeah, I gotta keep going back to that. Moraxis, he really just forced that initiation right there.
His team support was nowhere nearby, and they didn't have the damage. And he'd go the Helm of the Black Legion, sitting at 1,300 extra gold here. Just
it's the same story, though. I mean, Moon Queen does continue to have a very solid farm. You brought up earlier, though, it's all in relativity. I mean, the fact that she's 5th overall, despite her really good farm, definitely says something. You got 4 players in the Hellborne team are all higher. Demented Shaman actually leading the way currently at 485 gold per minute, showing in his items, Gnome's Wisdom, Tablet, Steam Boots, and he has another 1,100 gold. Oh, hell, he has a Glowstone on top of that. That was just delivered, actually. So, possible Staff of the Master pickup. I know that's definitely been an item we've seen on him before, specifically with, well, going back to Stay Green and Swinamons.
It's just, it is way too powerful once you actually have that max out, especially when your team has an advantage like that. Just being able to cast the Storm Cloud, having it last for, I think at level 3, it's up to 30 seconds with the staff buff.
It's around.
I believe it's 30 seconds. Pretty much being able to have it always up on your team as you're pushing the base is creates such an advantageous team fight.
Again, wow, Grinix does not get killed. That was a much better jump right there, but again, just not enough damage. It was a Moraxis Keeper of the Forest, trying to gank a full life Grinix with the Helm of the Black Legion and Mystic Vestments.
He did pick up the Vestments finally. Only one without the Vestments now. Looking at the Engineer, he did get his Steam Boots though, so Vestments would be a natural follow-up here. It's the Steam Boots Vestments combination that you like to see on your supports.
Very nice reaction from Pro Busk right there. The opposite Storm Cloud comes out, Grinix comes in with a Shadow Step, but Moraxis is going to start running away. And he should be fine for now, or will he? Here comes Grinix, hunting his prowl right here. Rift Stalk coming out, trying to chase him down. There's his ultimate going to be used right there in the meantime. Doing some damage, following everyone. Master of Arms in trouble. Nether Strike coming out right there, the Shadow Step. And down falls Master of Arms. Comfort in the background, not going to lock them down though. Keeping the force. Now he's on the run. He's going to be locked up with the kickstop. Beautiful turn on top of that. And Favelli gets credit for the kill right there. That was just a case of the Hellborne team just stalking their prey, man. I mean, as soon as they all got there, the Legion team was just scattering, running away.
Yeah, they spent the entire time running while they just pretty much stabbed him in the backs. Grinix, man, putting on a surprising amount of damage here for the Hellborne team in this game. 14%. Demented Shaman, funnily enough, being the only hero on top of him. Everyone else sort of tapering off from there, so yeah, Grinix doing work this game.
Moon Queen's like, guys, just stop dying, please. I'm farming.
You can't sit there and expect to win when they have this defensive, especially when you have a rally. You can't afford expect that your team's going to be able to win a 4v5 encounter. I mean, you kind of got to be there, which really sucks for the Moon Queen in the first place when she's trying to build a farm to actually become a threat.
Yeah. Very tough spot to be in. She is still in the middle lane here, kind of pushing it out a little bit, but wouldn't be surprised to see her port back here in the near future because another creep wave coming in. Barrier Rattle is on cooldown, so won't be able to use it for at least the next creep wave, if not even the one following. But Moon Queen has an Invis rune right there. Instead of actually taking it, she just destroys it. No reason to pick it up, I guess. Going to now go back to her own jungle and continue to farm. Elder Parasite just picked up by Grinix, by the way. Seems like it could be a pretty powerful item on him, amongst many heroes now with the change to it, of course. So his life pool is pretty solid here, on top of his.
Yeah, not quite like a Predator, which will take use of it thanks to the fact of the Stone Hide. But they have the huge advantage. Even if he's choosing not to activate it, does give him the extra tankiness. And right now, I said all they need is health. At this point, if they can't bust their defenses, they're not going to make anything happen.
This is going to be a big pickoff if they can follow through. Chief of the Master's Call comes out. The Tempest ultimate holding it in place. Moon Queen turns around with the movement. There, Compel hits though. Moraxis jumps in. They're turning around on a Tempest. Barrier comes up. Tempest is still alive in the background. He finally will fall. Grinix goes on a Moon Queen, though, with another parasite. Down falls Moon Queen. So the initial save attempt almost there, but it does not come through. Moon Queen does have more than enough gold for buyback. A very defensive route used right there, and it might not be enough in the end still. Master of Arms picked up as Keeper of the Force just runs to the side. Dust apply the portal key, though,
that was a really late Dust.
Yeah, I was surprised they had it and didn't use it earlier. So.
Do they not have True Sight?
Well, he does portal key away. Moon Queen does have buyback again, but she's not going to do it. I mean, there is kind of no point in. I mean, even if she buys back, there's not much they could be able to do, especially without more access initiation. So they're very likely going to lose the melee rack. So Grinix jumps in on a Keeper, but Keeper going to be fine. Grinix just applying the pressure, and the melee racks does
really? Are
fall?
you seriously?
Okay. Wow.
No one wants to take the sacrifice, apparently.
I guess so. Yeah.
To drop the melee racks. It's not a big deal. It's not like they can't afford it. They're going to win every team fight at this point, so not wanting to take any casualties.
Oof, the tablet not in time. He does get stunned, actually. That was a compel, I guess. But in the meantime, Fork Lightning comes down the chase line. Grinix from behind them with a flank. Takes out Master Bombs right there. So doing plenty of damage. Also using that illusory assault, as it's called, with his ultimate. And now he's chasing more access. More access portal keys away, though. Going to be fine. So again, the Legion team trying to chase right there, but in the end, the Hellborne side and team, they do hold it off somewhat. They're going to keep the push up. Moon Queen is on her way to that shrunken head, though. She does have the Warhammer and the Mighty Blade, so.
Yeah. I mean, she's going to have it. All right, so I was going to say, and the bottom racks, you actually saw they backed off there. Managed to barely survive thanks to some nice positioning, but it honestly, you can be like, oh, a hero death is worth the racks, but at this point, they're going to, as I was saying before, they're going to win every fight anyway, so taking no casualties and just going back, winning another team fight, taking the racks, is actually an advantage to them. It doesn't matter whether they took out the racks at that point or not.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Kongor. You see the Staff of the Master finish on the Master Shaman, by the way, so 23 more 100 gold saving from Grinix. Excited to see what he goes for next. Rally's been sitting on the Soul's Bulwark, another 2,600 gold himself. This should be a free Kongor. No way that the Legion team is stopping this Kongor attempt. I will say, I mean, as far as jump potential, the Legion team definitely has plenty of that now. Not only more access to Keeper, but also Bubbles just got his own portal key, so they do have a lot of gotcha potential here as far as setting up those team fights. And that, again, that's kind of the they need that, and that's the one thing, if any, that's going to be it could be a difference maker. But overall, big picture, it's a pretty big lead here for the Hellborne side, and a lot of things would need to happen wrong for Team to make a victory likely here for Gay for Life. So Shrunken Head is finished though by Moon Queen. And actually is going to be delivered right there. So, but again, it just goes back to, in a sense, it is kind of more damage because if you can't be locked down as efficiently, you're putting out more damage. So, but yeah, it's still not the big damage threat necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great mix of damage here. Even through the Shrunken Head, they have the Grinix that can absolutely pound it into the because they have the Demented Shaman for minus armor, which is not going to be applied through the Shrunken Head, but they have the minus armor. They've got they the rally, the burst damage there. They don't care.
Yeah. You see Grinix up in those front lines somewhat. Kind of leading the way for his team. In fact, going to jump right there with a Shadow Step on a Moraxis, but now going to fall back using this illusory assault right there. His ultimate, kind of spreading things out and keeping the Legion team guessing, if anything. Remember, the Moraxis is still alive. It was barely did last time as well, but they chose not to finish it off. This time now trying to find that opportunity. Grinix again, though, with that token of life. He's not the most worried about being up here in the front lines. A very defensive Stormcloud once again hitting all 5 heroes, and again, especially with the Staff of the Master. Right now it's still level 2 ultimate, but all the way up to 24 seconds at this point even. So plenty of armor buff coming out. Grinix jumping, more access right here. Arcane Shield comes up. A little bit too late though. In the end, he's going to survive. Oh, nice deny on the racks, I guess, but it does fall in the end, so doesn't really matter.
Never the words you want to hear is nice deny on the racks.
On the racks, yeah. Oh, Bubbles jumps into the background here. Wait, go! Bubbles with the more access on top of the energy field. Comes out Mooka with the Moon Finale, doing some damage. A Glaze pass around will take an Engineer, but will she take out anyone else is the question. It doesn't look like it. Her team falling apart. Buybacks are happening though. Keeper of the Force finally comes back in with the root right there. Moraxis jumps back in as well after the buyback. But we got Grinix, Rally, and Demented Shaman all here, and all still looking pretty damn strong. So they're most likely going to clean up the ranged racks right now. As far as buybacks go, Keeper and Moraxis both did buy back right there in that fight. So
Yeah, Tempest is on his way back, though, as well, so if they try to make anything happen, he has his portal key up, he has his ultimate up.
Yeah.
They can't afford to engage here.
Yeah, they're going to jump into Moraxis, and Moraxis gets bursted down. The Storm Cloud, the Healing Wave, and Grinix on top of that. Way too much damage to handle, so more and more of the base is going to start falling apart. Moon Queen is constantly going back and forth, just throwing out some Moonbeam saying, hey guys, don't kill our base, come on. I don't know if it's going to happen. There's a big Tempest ultimate coming out for Tank Effect. It is eventually going to be stopped. No, never mind, actually. It is a full duration, pretty much. Grinix with a follow-up. They take out Keeper of the Force right there. Moon Queen being chased down. Can she get to the well in time? It looks like she can. But when a team is starting to farm you at the well, you know things are in a pretty bad spot, so. We got Grinix still kind of hanging around. He still has a token for him. He actually buys a level 1 shield breaker. Yeah, level 1 shield breaker. Even more damage output from him. Now going to chase in to stalk this Moon Queen. Charges her backwards. Got attacks coming out. Rally jumping in. But the kill field hits. See the Shuriken Head activated on a Moon Queen right there. Going to go for Tempest. The Glaive's bouncing around, doing some fairly decent damage. Moraxis with the follow-up. And Tempest fall. Grinix goes down and going to resurrect though. Rally's going to be in a lot of trouble. He'll eventually fall. And now Grinix is going to be on the run. Revelation does see him. But I think he's going to make his getaway in the end. So, well, Team Yeah did dive pretty big right there.
Grinix kind of looks like he wants to go back in. He would have upgraded his shield breaker further, but he was just trying to buy it really quick in the base and didn't get to do it all in one chunk here. Engineer is with him, and Moraxis might be feeling confident to farm this bottom lane. You got to be careful, buddy.
There's the Rift stock. He's going to go in right there. The Nether Strike's coming out. The Elder Parasite going to be activated. He does activate the Matrix Shield, but or excuse me, the Arcane Shield, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, can't stop the Engineer attack. He patiently waited, got the Shadow Step afterwards, and pummeled them into those trees there.
Well, hey, it's our Legion team. They are just holding in there, trying to come back here in this game. This would be a pretty epic comeback for sure. But you got to look at that and then notice that if this was a lot more on the line, perhaps at least at this stage, and they weren't as big of a lead, they probably wouldn't have dove the well like that. As crazy, of course, but you always think about that now. As this game continues to progress, you do have a Moon Queen, and keep going back to that. She is still up there. In fact, she is now pretty much the top farmer in the game, as you look at the GPM chart. So she actually currently has a double damager in here.
For her team anyway, Demented Shaman slightly edging her out, but Demented Shaman not exactly a hard carry, more of that team presence. They're honestly just being toyed with, though. Yeah. It's a game of cat and mouse at this point. Yeah, sure, maybe they can be crafty. They can try to outrun the cat for so long, but in the end, they are still the mouse. They are still the prey, and that's the theme of this game.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the damage scaling, it seems like Grinix is able to, especially with the Demented Shaman on top of the Storm Cloud. I mean, can definitely put out some pretty solid damage here. So, still, they still have a lot of damage throughout themselves here on the Hellborne side, for sure.
The DS isn't with them, though, here in middle, and well, the Legion team looks like they might be perceptive. They are moving up. Curious to see if they're actually going to try to initiate that. Storm Cloud is a big deal.
It is, yeah. 100% agree. Geometer's Bane just finished right there, so Moon Queen doesn't have a buyback, but she is, she's got her good trio core items. Moraxis is a pretty damn good Quake Shot right there. Tempest going to be gone on. Moon Finale is going to be activated. There's a charge shot on a Tempest. The energy field is down in the background. Moon Queen running up with the Shuriken Head, putting in the auto attacks, trying to finish anybody off, but the spread is beautiful here from the Hellborne team. The Demented Shaman is now nearby. Moraxis running into him, gets the portal key off just in time, but the Entangle was applied, and you see the follow-up happening, and down goes Moraxis. So, well, that was a chance, if any, for our Legion team, but just not able to get the follow-through damage that continues to just constantly be the name of the game here for them. They just cannot get the overall damage output. And yet again, Team Yeah does survive, and now going to start pushing the top side. They're going to jump Keeper of the Force right here. Holy crap, he just falls to pieces. Moon Queen's going to be gone on. Geometer's Bane going to be activated. Tempest ultimate in the background, locking down two heroes on top of the Seismic Slam. Bubbles is going to be able to get away with the Shell Surf, but Master of Arms did fall. Moon Queen can't get to the well in time as a demoralizing roar comes out. And again, he can't buy back, so yeah, there you go. The vote you can see comes out. GG, well played. And it will be official now as, excuse me, game number 2 does go to Yeah right there as far as this series is concerned. So as I also stated earlier on, I mean, this was the last round of the single elimination format of this event. So that does mean, unfortunately, Game for Life is going to be knocked out here in the DreamHack Summer Qualifiers. A solid run, but the road does end here for them. Team Yeah moving on to the round of 16, though.
So I was happy we got to see the Grinex. I'm not sure if it was the case
Yeah.
of whether or not they felt confident enough with the hero pick and actually think it is usable, or whether they felt like they were just a stronger team across the board. So yeah, either way, Fabelli played it super effectively. You saw how he can be played in that suicide role. Does have sort of that mobility, the protective ability of a scout. In that case, he was in a 1v1 situation against the Moon Queen, though. So not the hardest matchup. It wasn't the most trying matchup, but yeah, either way, good game. Looking forward to moving into the round of 16 here, though.
Yeah, again, this is a team, especially with that invitational event. Again, the victory over Lions, the 2 games to 1 there. Looked even solid against State Grid in the following round. It's a team that's starting to